everyone. So guess what? I have a traveler's notebook process for you today, but I also have a giveaway. So the giveaway is going to be one of these gorgeous ink road stamp girls. You cannot buy these anymore, but I happen to have an extra one, so we're gonna give one away. So what I'm using today is I'm going to create a traveler's notebook spread. I'm going to use this little ink road girl, and I'm going to use this piece of paper from my Clique Kit, the traveler's notebook kit, this floral paper as my inspiration. And so what I've done here is I have my Kiritaki watercolors, and I have some clean water off to the side that you can't see. And I'm going to try to recreate these swirly flowers onto this watercolor paper. So this is my hot press watercolor paper that I adore and use for all of my stamping and all of my watercolors and everything, because it takes water like a champ, and it's smooth. It doesn't have that bumpy watercolor paper bumpiness to it, and I just adore it. So this is super duper super easy. This is like the easiest watercolor thing you can do. It's just grab a couple colors that match your inspiration piece, in this case the little flowers, and I'm just kind of mimicking the flowers by just adding little swirls of color everywhere. So that's it, right? So easy. So I'm all finished here. I'm just finishing these completely up, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut down this paper because I treat this particular watercolor paper like gold. Because it is a bit pricey, so we don't waste even a smidgen of it. And now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start stamping a little bit. So I'm going to take the offcut of that watercolor paper, and I'm going to stamp this stamp. So let's talk about the giveaway. I have one of these stamps that I can give away, this little inked girl. This is the inked girl from last month. So August inked girl, and to be entered in the giveaway, you just have to be a subscriber to my channel, and you have to leave a comment below. And you can comment anything you like. I mean, obviously, don't be mean or rude or anything like that. But anything else you want to say, tell me. Comment. What do you like about my channel? What could I improve upon without being rude and mean? All that good stuff. And I will pick one random winner. Let's give this giveaway. Let's see, this is going to go live on Tuesday. So let's do this giveaway until September 30th. 30th, the last day in September. That's when we're going to do it. So I will choose a winner, and I will post a little giveaway winner video, which will probably be my son doing that, because that's what he's good for, right? That's kind of like his thing. So we'll have him do a little video giveaway thing. And so the giveaway will end Saturday at midnight, and Sunday during the day we will pick a winner and post the winner on the 30th. So that gives you a while. Go ahead and comment away. I'll make sure that I put that there's a giveaway in the little description box here. And we'll give away this stamp set. So I'm just stamping on my watercolor paper. I am using Ulta Permanent Black ink. It is my favorite black ink. It works fabulously. And I have tried other brands of permanent ink. The only other brand that comes close to being as fabulous as this is Colorbox Archival ink in the Wicked Black color. And that's a little bit of a cheaper price point. So both of those are, quite similar. They're very, very similar. So both of those will work fabulously if you're looking for a nice black ink. Okay, so my watercolor piece has dried, and now I'm taking these clear stamps. These clear stamps are from Pretty Little Studio, and they were in the Traveler's Notebook kit. And I'm going to use just some of them, and I'm going to place them on top of this watercolor paper so that the watercolor can see through, and I think it looks amazing. One of my bestest scrappy friends, the girl that is the reason I scrapbook. Kristen Teedy, she is also one of my subscribers, and when I did my unboxing, she commented and said, you should put those flowers over watercoloring. And I thought, genius! So that's what we're doing. Yes, she was my first person to introduce me scrapbooking. She is the reason I do what I do. I think I've mentioned her before, but she's amazing. So this one is all Kristen. Okay, next up. I am keeping that little bit of offcut because we're totally going to use it on our scrapbook process a little bit later. And fast forward a ton. And now we are just kind of getting an idea of how I'm going to create this layout. So I have, you will see, colored in my girl using my Tombow dual brush tip pens. Those are my go-to pens. They are the ones I use. When I started wanting to color and wanting to learn how to color, I refused to buy multiple sets of pens. I took one class, a Tombow class, with one set of pens. You learned how to use them, know how to use them well, and that's it. So my collection is growing. I don't have quite all of them yet, but I have a good bit of them. And so these are some of the die cuts that came in the Traveler's Notebook kit from Clique Kits. The die cuts are from Fancy Pants, Magnolia Moments, and this is a frame, and it had, like, you could hang it from somewhere, and I just trimmed that off because I don't want it to hang from anywhere. So I'm just giving it a little bit of a die cut haircut, if you will. I'm going to ink the edges with some gray Distress ink in Hickory Smoke, and then I'm going to layer them on top so it looks like my title, which was one of the sentiments from the stamp set, is framed up. And that sentiment says, home is where the pants are stretchy and the Wi-Fi is free. And the photo is of me sitting right by my scrapbook table in LuLaRoe leggings. And then the other side is a quote about Monet that I love. There are certain quotes that I really love, and that's one of them. So I have both of those quotes ready to go. So the little white piece that I cut down is a quote by Atticus, and it says, "Art takes time. Monet grew his gardens before he painted them." And if you follow my channel a lot, you know I have another Traveler's Notebook full of all of my most favorite paintings that I have seen in person, and about 90% of them are Monet's. I also have 2 Monet reproductions hanging in my house, so I definitely love him. And that quote is something that I always remember. You have to grow your garden before you can paint your flowers. So I'm just going to stick everything down here. I kind of have an idea of how I want this side to go. So I'm going to start sticking everything down on this side, and then I'm going to kind of stall a little bit, just a little bit. So I get to about here, and I'm kind of like, I'm not sure where I want to go with it next. So I decide to work on the other side and kind of let the creative juices flow a bit until I have a really good idea of, where I want to go and things like that. So, as you can see here, I'm using this offcut now, and I'm going to back that quote with the watercolor paper from the offcuts. And then we're going to save all of those offcuts, and I'm going to punch some shapes out of them in a bit, because again, not wasting any of the precious watercolor paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim this up. And then I already trimmed down that floral paper. This floral paper is in the Traveler's Notebook kit, and it's from Webster's Pages. It's 8x8, which means it's just shy of where I need it to be to fit into the pocket of my pocket page notebook. So we are going to have to kind of add a little bit to the bottom of it, which we're going to do, and that will be perfect. So you can see here that I'm punching pink leaves, lots of pink leaves out of all of the extra little bits and bobs from the watercolor paper. And so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick this quote down, and I have my pink leaves all punched, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix the bottom of this. So I have the pocket page notebooks are a little taller than a standard Traveler's Notebook, I have found. So they're just a touch taller. So what I'm going to do is, this is a trimmed off piece from the Magnolia Moment 6x6 paper pad. And I'm just going to place it at the bottom of my traveler's notebook, you know, at the bottom of the page, as you can see here. And then I'm going to slip it into the pocket. I don't know, oh, that's right, it was kind of sticking, and I wasn't even sure why it was sticking, but it was. And then I'm going to have a nice guide to trim off the top. So if you remember correctly, last month when I did a traveler's notebook spread using last month's Clique Kit, I had the same problem and I covered it with washi tape. And this time I kind of remembered that it was a little taller than I was expecting, so I decided to fix it that way. And then I just tore off the bottom edge to give it kind of a cool texture area. And now I'm going to stick and plunk and fidget a lot. I'm moving stuff around. This was kind of like the hardest part of this. I really wanted to incorporate the pink leaves, and I thought I was going to like draw little doodles underneath them, but then when I drew the doodles, I didn't like the doodles. So yeah, there was a lot of fidgeting going on here. So you can see the doodles here, and I don't like them, but I'm not quite sure what to do about them. So I'm just going to continue on tucking and kind of moving stuff around. I don't like the doodles. I know I want to cover them. I'm not sure how I want to cover them. It was just kind of frustrating after a while, but I get there, don't worry. So here I kind of get this idea that I'm going to tuck the leaves underneath that torn piece of paper, and I love that. That turned out perfect. So I decide that the pocket page is done, and now I have to figure out what on earth I'm doing with the other side, because I kind of felt like I ruined it by adding those little doodly things. It looked good in my head, and now it doesn't look good anymore. I also don't like how the girl is floating. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it, and so this is what I do. I decided that I want to add a piece of torn paper. This actually worked really well. So what I did was I took a piece of that floral paper, and I kind of made a shelf underneath my girl, and I tore the edge of that so that it kind of matched the torn edge on the other side. And it also covered up the bulk. There's still a couple doodles there, but it covered up the bulk of the doodles that I was not enjoying at all. So when you see the close-up, if you're looking at this girl, I kind of wanted her to look like me, and so I kind of gave her freckles. So I hope that you enjoyed this process, and that's where we're going to leave this one. Remember to comment before September 30th so you can get one of these adorable little inked girls for yourself. And I will see you all again soon. Bye!